Hello everyone. Today 7th January 2023 and I have taken two questions from Hindu editorial. The first editorial I have taken, political party are not like company. So whenever you read the article, try to connect the article with the syllabus. In syllabus we have GS paper 2. Under that we have important topic polity. Under polity we have to study election. And in election, party play very important role. So this article basically comparing political party with corporate companies. Like in corporate companies, we have one CEO, like in Reliance company, Tata company, or then we have board of director, and then we have multiple department of that particular company, and then we have hierarchy of workers. So all these like CEO, company, multiple department or workers, they are somehow working for profit. If a company is not earning the profit, definitely it is going to be closed. But here we have political party, then we have party leader. As of now, we have seen some changes in political system in India. We can say that somehow political party leader is working as a CEO, and then we have senior party leader like a board of director, or maybe we have a party worker who are working like in a company. But we have to understand that both have different motive. Here the motive is to earn the money, but here the motive is not to earn the money, but fulfill the social need of the country, or getting the power and run as per spirit of the constitution. So this article basically talking about political party need a change, but they should not work as how company are working in India. That aspect you have to understand. Then you have to understand some party system in India also, or we can say that when we talked about the democracy, as of now we are following representative democracy, and representative democracy always depend party system. What type of party we have, what type of culture of the party we have, that decide the quality of democracy in particular country. So in party system we can say that in party generally they are representation of the people, or we can say that somehow party can be classified in multiple group, but generally we have some classification, like we have leftist party, central party, and then we have rightist party. Okay, leftist party always believe in equality. They somehow fight for workers right, farmers right, indigenous people's right, or remove concentration of wealth. So as of now in India we have like Communist Party of India. Okay, Communist Party, Marxist, all the party we have, somehow they are fighting for tribal, they are fighting for tribals right, workers right, farmers right. And then we have rightist party, or we can say that central party somehow, which is combinations of both the element of leftist party as well as rightist party, like we have Congress party. So somehow they have fighting for rights of tribal people also, farmers also. Okay, and they are raising the concerns of business people also. So we can say that here we like in Congress party we have liberal leader, and we have like leftist leader, like during modern history we have seen Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru also, and Sardar Patel also. Then we have rightist party. They always believe in liberalism, liberalization, privatization, globalization, pro-business policies, trickle-down approach. So you have to have general idea. So it is up to you in which party you want to align. If you feel that okay, you are tribal community, or you feel that Communist Party of India is serving your need, so whenever you are going to vote, you will vote for Communist Party of India. Or you as a worker, if you want to raise awareness among the people, you might be going to join Congress, Communist Party of India. So you are working under Communist Party of India not as a worker but as a trustee. Whenever you join a company, you are getting a salary, but here your trust is there. You are trustee of the Communist Party of India, and based on your performance you can reach up to the top level also. But when we talked about here rightist party, whenever you are thinking you are pro business, and you want to join a party, you might be going to join a party BJP also. So that aspect you have to understand. Then, how party govern in India? Govern means how law regulate the political party in India. As of now, we can say that to make a party is not your fundamental right. You can make cooperative society under Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause C, but you do not have a fundamental right to make a political party. Okay, so here we can say that as of now, we have some extra constitutional bodies. We somehow control the political party, and basically the law which govern the political party, as of now we have section 29A, subclause 5 of Representation of People Act control the political party. The only major statutory provisions dealing with the political party in India, it ordered that a political party shall bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India as by law established, and to the principle of socialism, secularism and democracy. So whenever you are going to make a political party, you cannot violate the spirit of the Constitution. That aspect you have to remember. Uphold the sovereignty, unity and integrity of the country. Then Election Commission of India required that party applications should be accompanied by document and information, power and function, method of appointment. So just remember one aspect, Constitution do not deal the Political Party of India. Representation of People Act provision 29A talked about how party has to function in particular in India, and they have to function as per the provisions of the Constitution. Tomorrow you are going to make a party, you're telling you want to make a party based on religion. No, you cannot make the party based on religion. You cannot make the party based on caste. You may represent, you may raise the voice of one particular caste, but you cannot say your party belong to one particular caste. Okay. Now I have taken one questions here, and you have to see the quality of the questions also. Very important questions like politics is value driven enterprise and should seek competence and accountability from political functionaries, but the way forward is not through corporatizations of our party. That aspect, in the light of this statement, give comparative analysis of political party and corporate companies. Also analyze corporatizations of political party in India. Analyze means you have to mention, you have to give argument like positive, and then you have to mention negative, and then you have to make a framework of the answers. In framework of the answers, you have to give introduction, body and the conclusion. Introduction, you can define political party and corporate companies, give or growing corporatizations of political party. You can give any context, any example, any report, or different. And then in body, difference between political party and corporate companies, growing corporatizations of political party, what are the issues we have, and then you have to give the way forward. So just remember, my objective is not only to discuss the editorial. My objective is to explain the concept. That is very, very important. After understanding the concept, give you a framework how to write the answers. After giving the framework, I will give the appropriate content. That will be very, very useful whenever UPSC is going to ask the questions. Consider if questions comes on political party, then you have enough quality content and important keyword which you can use in your mains examination. Now, in introduction, so I have given a simple introduction here, like political party is an organization of citizens who hold common values on governance and act as a political unit. So we can simply say that political party is group of citizens and they have a common view on governance. For example, one particular party feel that we have to construct Ram temple. That is not religious aspect. They believe that okay, one particular section of the people they want Ram temple. That party believe that we have to remove Article 370 because it is creating difference between Jammu and Kashmir and rest of India. The party believe that we want uniform civil court and they have started their own agenda, and slowly people are started to join that particular party, and then that party is going to obtain the power or obtain the control over the government, and then that party is fulfilling their agenda as per provisions of the constitution. That is the main objective of the party. Okay, and here you have to understand constitution only talked about association and cooperative society, but constitution under fundamental right do not have the provisions to establish a political party. That can be your introduction. After writing this introduction, you can give this diagram also. Then you have to define corporation. The corporation is a legal entity governed as per law, have equal right like the citizen. That aspect you have to remember. And then you have to give the differences. So daily basis, in the morning I am giving you the point value added point in my Telegram channel. So you can join my Telegram channel. In morning you will get important point like how the differences we have. So we have political party and then we have corporation. So political party, what is the real motive? So we can say that the real motive of political party to get the power and fulfill the social agenda or expectations of the people. Here profit orientation. Workers work voluntarily. They do not get any like wages. Only few workers are there who get the salary also. But here we have paid workers. Workers are working for money. They are not aligned with the company. If they feel that other company are giving more money, they are going to shift from company A to company B also. Service, social service, mobilization of the voter for their own benefit. Here people and worker all are trustee of the company, and company or other trustee of the party. Here selling good and services and getting the money back. Role of the worker, though hierarchy is maintained but work is overlapping at a ground level. Hard work you are doing at the top level, same work is done by the top leaders also. Here well defined, non overlapping with reasonable expectation that their professional skill will suffice for their work. Emotional attachment, party workers are very emotionally attached to their political agenda or their party. No emotional attachment, lack of emotional attachment. So that aspect you have to understand difference between political party as well as corporation. Then growing corporatization and professionalizations of the party. How you will see the trend is going on. So we can see that one aspect, party leader work like a CEO as of now, using whip control representative under anti-defection law. So as of now we have anti-defection law. As per anti-defection law, you have to speak as per the direction given by the political party. So here we can see that we have one party ABC and party have P as a leader. Okay, this party have its own worker and this party is giving the agenda to the people, and people have voted to this party and this party got the majority, and when this party got the majority in state legislature, and then this party is going to make a government council of minister, this person P become a chief minister. So this person chief minister have control over the government as well as he has control over the party. But what happened, this party member or the people representative who are sitting in state legislature again not able to say their own voice because of whip. They have to speak as per party direction. They cannot speak as per need of the people. You can understand here also. For example, we have constituency A. Here we have members of parliament who belong to BJP, and in Lok Sabha, a considered council of ministers headed by prime minister also belong to BJP, and they are going to introduce a farm bill which have negative consequences of farmers of his own country constituency. So what members of parliament has to do? He has to speak on behalf of beef, or he has to speak on behalf of farmers. So that is a dilemma as of now we have. So because of anti-defection law, we can say that the chief minister or party leaders are controlling over representatives. That aspect you have to understand. Second, centralization of power. So chief minister using bureaucracy to bypass the minister. So we have people have voted, and their representatives are sitting in state legislature, and then majority party is going to make a council of minister headed by chief minister. So sometimes this chief minister is not consulting with the minister, but it is consulting to permanent bureaucracy like secretary, and they came through exam. So here we have less legitimacy, or we can say that centralization of the power. Then deviating from democratic norms. So deviating from democratic norms, so here consultation is very important. So here we have party leader, party got the majority and they made the government council of minister. So leader become chief minister. So political consultation is going to come down, like they have to consult party leader, but chief minister is not consulting party leader, they are consulting from professionals. So all these trend, we can say that making party in India as corporatization and professionalization. Very depth understanding you have to build. Then issues in corporatization of political party. What are the issues as of now we have? So we have to understand one concept: creating patron client relationship. Like people are voting to the party and they are getting some freebies. Okay, so here people are not governed as per spirit of the democracy. They are governed like a patron client relationship. Like you are a worker, you are giving service to company and you are getting the wages. This relationship is not should not build in the democracy to compromise democratic spirit. Like peoples are the ownership of the democracy, here ownership become this party. Lack of accountability of government toward the people, a lack of responsiveness of party toward the people. Okay, then against intra-party democracy. Like intra-party democracy compromise because of promoting caste, dynasty and religion based on political party. So as of now, party are promoting caste system, dynasty and the religion. They are somehow compromising rights of the people. That aspect you have to understand. And growing influence of money. Then increasing crony capitalism. Crony capitalism simple means that businesses and corporate houses, they are giving fund to party and getting policy benefits. So it is creating economic inequality in country. Pro business government, people are considered object in the democracy. And then centralization of power in political party. Okay, not taking people's opinion. Party leaders are taking decision themselves based on their own benefit. No consultation with party worker. Increasing role of professionals. All the aspect I have explained you, just remember. And then you have to keep way forward. So like, always remember one thing: whenever you are writing the answers in the polity, so you have to write some article whenever needed, articles of the constitution, whenever needed Supreme Court judgment you can quote, whenever needed committee commission's report you can give, and you have to give international practices also. So we have to reform political party system in India. So we can say that giving constitutional status to political party like giving in Germany, you can mention the name of Germany also. And then you have to mention when a party comes under constitution, though they must follow the provisions of the constitution. They become more accountable, responsible body within the political party, like we have in UK, where Conservative Party has a central council and executive committee. That example you can quote. Jot down somewhere these important examples. Then disclose their funding. That is very, very important. From where party are getting the fund, that play very crucial role. And rethink anti-defection law. Here we have to free our representatives from party beef, so that our representative can raise our own voices. That aspect you have to remember. And then implement suggestions from the committee. So some committee name you have to remember, like Dinesh Goswami committee, Tendulkar committee, Indrajit Gupta committee. All are talking about transparency, accountability, and intra-party democracy. And 1919 Law Commission report is strongly emphasized over intra-party democracy. So I can say that if the questions comes on party, so as of now you have enough point, enough content to write a answer. Then we have second article. So second article I have taken in crisis in international law. So as of now, like every alternate day, I am discussing one topic on IR. If your optional is like PSIR, it will help a lot. So whenever we read the article, we will try to connect the article with the syllabus. In syllabus, we have like GS paper 2. Under that, we have important topic international relation. Okay, so this article is talking about international law and what are the challenges international law as of now are facing. So we can say that some trends are going on, like we can say aggressive Russia, attack on Ukraine, expansionist China. China has a border dispute almost all neighboring country, economic nationalism, USA like America first policy, and European Union we have seen the Brexit also, and dysfunctional of WTO, for example USA Inflation Reduction Act, trade war is going on, regional contradictory groups are going to be created. So all these developments somehow compromising our international law. So that is the essence of the article you have to understand. So I have given one questions here, like analyzing the core universal values enshrined in international law are threatened by securitization, populism and protectionism. Okay, then after reading the questions, you have to frame the answers. In answers, you have introduction, body, and the conclusion. Introduction, you can give the context like Russia-Ukraine war, deglobalization, expansionist policy of China, or you can define core universal value in international law. In challenges, you have to write like securitization, populism, creation of bipolar world, growing populism, and then you have to give the way forward. Then in introduction, you can simply define international law. You can simply define international law. International law is set of rule, norms and standard generally recognized as building between state. It establishes normative guideline and common conceptual framework for state across for broad range of domain including war, diplomacy, economic relations and human right. And then you have to mention important or core principles of international law. What are the core principles of international law as of now we have? So we have sovereign equality of the state, principle of non-intervention in international state, prohibitions of threat or use of force, peaceful settlement of international dispute, duty to cooperate, principle of good faith, self determination of people, respect of human right. So somehow these are the important principles, and these principles are going to be compromised in contemporary political system around the globe. Okay, so what are the challenges as of now we have? So first and the important challenge as of now we have geostrategic challenge, mean geographically challenges we have like downfall of relative harmony among multiple countries. So earlier we have we can say that multilateralism, and now bipolarism is going to be increase or growing bipolarism. One side we have USA and the NATO, other side we have Russia, China or communist country. So we can say that geostrategic challenge due to Russia-Ukraine war, Taiwan issue, Afghanistan is controlled by Taliban. So these are the some development, and these developments somehow compromise international law. Then we have geo-economic challenges. So we can say that in economic aspect also we have challenges as at international level, like growing economic nationalism, like America First policy, Inflation Reduction Act. We have dysfunctional WTO. WTO dispute redressal mechanism is not working well. We have trade war between USA and China, and then we have contradictory trading bloc like RCEP. Other trading bloc are going to be created, which are somehow compromising the legitimacy of the WTO. Then we have growing militarization. So like military expenditure is continuously increasing because of lack of trust among the sovereign state. Military group like NATO is again become more functional. New technology is creating new challenges like cyber terrorism, bioterrorism, space terrorism because of lack of trust among the member countries. Then growing populism. So we can say that compromise the legitimacy in international law. So we have seen like Hungary, Turkey, Poland, Israel. More leaders are like more nationalistic and more populistic. So other these are also challenge we have at international level. And then Bharat way forward, or Bharat we should do. So we have to focus reform first. We have to reform UNSC because United Nations Security Council is not able to control or create peace and harmony at global level. It is not very democratic. Legitimacy of international law. We have to improve the legitimacy of international law by first of all USA and European Union. They have to come forward, or whatever international organization we have, they have to make this international organization more democratic. And convergence in global south. So global south means whatever country, developing and least developed country, they have to come together and they have to ensure peace and harmony at international level, because that is very important, because as of now these countries are facing poverty, unemployment, climate change. Okay, if like international law, if world is not governing as per international law, it have more negative consequences on global south. So hope you are able to understand. So hope you are able to understand both the questions, and I want to motivate all of you. Okay, but I can say only one thing. You have मोटिवेशन विद इन यू. आपके अंदर से मोटिवेशन होना चाहिए. और आपको ये समझना है कि जब भी आप लाइफ में कुछ भी काम करते हैं, अगर आप कोई भी काम करते हैं तो उस काम का को में अगर आपको सक्सेस चाहिए तो सक्सेस का एसेंस समझना. अगर आपको यूपीएससी में सक्सेस चाहिए ना, देखो बहुत सारे लोग यूपीएससी के बारे में बताएंगे, यूट्यूब पे एन नंबर ऑफ वीडियो हैं, इसलिए मैं ज़्यादा स्ट्रेटेजी के बारे की बात नहीं करता. आप सबके पास में स्ट्रेटेजी है, आप सबको पता है कि कौन सा बुक पढ़ना है, यू नो एवरीथिंग एज ऑफ नाउ. दैट्स व्हाई आई लेस टॉक्ड अबाउट ऑल दस एस्पेक्ट. ओके, मैं बस एक बात कहूँगा, अगर आपको इस एग्ज़ाम को क्वालिफाई करना है तो आपको सबसे पहले फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यू हैव टू वर्क ऑन आंसर्स राइटिंग. बिलीव मी, ये वो चीज़ है जो आपको यूपीएससी में रैंक लेके आएगा. उसके अलावा आप whatever you will do ना, that will only enhance your knowledge. अब you should decide yourself, you want knowledge or you want rank. पहले तो आपको डिसाइड करना है कि आपको नॉलेज चाहिए या रैंक चाहिए. बोथ आर इंपॉर्टेंट, आई कैन नॉट डिनाइंग. इफ यू आर रीडिंग मल्टीपल बुक्स, यू आर रीडिंग मल्टीपल सोर्स, definitely it will help in your personality also, in your changing everything, but it will not help to get a rank. That aspect. Second aspect, हमेशा सिलेबस के हिसाब से पढ़ो. हमेशा. No need to go beyond the syllabus. Sometimes like every day Hindu is giving I can say 6 to 7 article. I am choosing 2 article, only 2 article. उसके बाद जब भी मुझे लगता है कि कोई अदर आर्टिकल है, मिस हो गया है, तो आई एम जस्ट एक्सप्लेनिंग ऑल्सो. मैं उसको एक्सप्लेन भी आपको करता हूँ भाई, बिकॉज दैट आर्टिकल इज इंपॉर्टेंट. तो मेरा ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है कि जो भी हमारे आर्टिकल हैं अगर वो सिलेबस के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है आई विल टेक इट, अगर वो हमारे सिलेबस के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, यूपीएससी के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, आई विल नॉट टेक इट, बिकॉज भाई आई हैव टू गिव एडिशनल इंफॉर्मेशन, एडिशनल नॉलेज, there is no use to give. Whatever important for UPSC perspective we have to study. So first important task, always work on answers writing. अगर आप believe me, if you are writing daily 2 questions, after 1 month you will feel empowered in the answers writing. Then after syllabus, उसके बाद आपको जितनी भी बार हो रिवाइज करो, अपने जो नोट्स हैं उनको रिवाइज करो, मतलब रिकॉल करो. तो अगर आप सिलेबस के हिसाब से अपने नोट्स बना रहे हैं, आपके जो नोट्स हैं वो अकॉर्डिंग टू सिलेबस है, उसके बाद आप आंसर्स राइटिंग कर रहे हैं, एंड इफ यू आर डूइंग द रिवीजन दैट इज एनफ फॉर दिस एग्जामिनेशन. एंड अगेन थैंक यू फॉर वॉचिंग माई वीडियो. एंड मुझे याद है कि मैंने चैनल स्टार्ट किया तो उस समय 1 स्टूडेंट से मैंने स्टार्ट किया, 1 के बाद 10 स्टूडेंट, 10 के बाद 50 स्टूडेंट हैव ज्वाइंड, देन 100 स्टूडेंट हैव ज्वाइंड, देन इट बिकम 200, इट बिकम 300, इट बिकम 400. As of now 400 peoples have joined my channel. देखो 400 लोगों की कम्युनिटी होती है, लोगों के बहुत बड़े बड़े चैनल हैं, मतलब मिलियंस में. मुझे उनसे नहीं, मुझे ये है कि कम से कम 400 पीपल्स आर लाइकिंग मी. और येस्टरडे मैंने वीडियो पोस्ट नहीं किया तो आई हैव सीन 2 मैसेजेस. मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा कि जब आप मेरी वीडियो को वेट करते हैं तो मुझे भी मोटिवेट होता है उसको क्वालिटी का बनाने के लिए. So thank you for watching it, and only one support I want from all of you, share my channel to all of your friends and like my videos, and again thank you for watching it.